Asking for a premarital agreement is not planning for a divorce. Hi, I'm Julie. I'm an attorney who helps couples plan strong and resilient marriages through a mediated premarital agreement, otherwise called prenups. Let's talk about prenup myths and how a mediated prenup can actually strengthen a marriage and prevent divorce. Myth number 1, prenups are for the rich. Prenups are not for the rich. The truth is, more people get divorced than stay married. And that means that prenups are for everyone. It's short-sighted to say, but I don't have anything, so a prenup isn't necessary. And if we get anything, we'll grow it together. But the truth is, prenups are not just about the assets. They're also about the debts and about spousal support. For argument's sake, let's presume you don't have any assets, your spouse doesn't have any assets, you both don't have any debts. The all ships rise together philosophy. But even if you don't have any assets or have any debts, you can collect debts during the marriage, and your spouse can collect debts during the marriage, even debts you don't agree to. So what happens if the marriage doesn't work out? Are you now responsible for your ex's credit card debt? Are you now responsible for the new car loan sitting in the driveway? Are you now responsible for all of that very expensive recreational equipment that we Pacific Northwesterners love to have, but it's kind of expensive to own? What happens then? Do you realize half of that debt is yours? Even if you are actively communicating, you don't want this debt. Even if all of the debt is in your spouse's name, it's still half yours. Why? Because Oregon divorce laws say so. I mean, unless you have a prenup. Myth number 2, the only people who want a prenup are planning for their divorce. Here's a truth bomb. Every person who gets married in Oregon actually has a prenup. It's called the divorce laws of Oregon. Think of it this way. The Oregon divorce laws are kind of like an opt-out prenup. So if you don't opt out, you just use the Oregon divorce laws. But then that means 50-50 of everything, whether you consented or not. But if you opt out, you're no longer tied to the 50-50 nature of Oregon's divorce laws. And you can decide your marriage, and hopefully not, but your divorce on your terms, not Oregon's terms. I am a divorce attorney who loves marriage. And believe it or not, I hate divorce. My goal for mediating your premarital agreement is not to plan for your divorce. Rather, it's to plan a strong foundation for a healthy, forever marriage. Frankly, if it's your intention to plan for your divorce through a mediated prenup, don't hire me. I don't want any part of that. Myth number 3, my spouse would never cheat on me. Frankly, they don't even have it in them. Infidelity is one of the most difficult parts of a marriage, and most do not survive it. The pain of infidelity is almost indescribable, and you do not want to be part of the if you know club. I cannot think of a single party in my 24-plus career who thought that their spouse would be unfaithful on them. Frankly, they almost always say to me, "Yep, I did not see that coming." In truth, no one thinks that their spouse is capable of being unfaithful on them. And yet it happens all the time. So if you're thinking, they'd never do that to me, remember, everybody who came before you said that too. You cannot control the other party. You cannot predict their future behavior. Frankly, it's the one you least suspect that tends to commit infidelity. More often than not, I hear, "I never, ever suspected they'd be unfaithful to me." Myth number 4, my religious beliefs do not include divorce, so a premarital agreement is unnecessary. But what if your spouse asks for a divorce without any logical reason? Or what if your spouse asks for a divorce without any religious reasons? The state of Oregon is still going to grant a divorce. It takes 2 yeses to get married. It takes 1 to ask for a divorce. And when 1 asks for a divorce, it's happening, regardless of your religious beliefs. Here's the truth. I had those same beliefs. And frankly, I still do. I'm still divorced. And you could be too. And I want to protect you from the future that could happen to you. And you aren't alone. I hear at least once a week from a party who says, I can't get a divorce. It's against my religion. But ultimately, they get a divorce because the other party forces it. And if you're forced into a divorce without a premarital agreement, they get half. And you get saddled with half of their debt. So at this point, you're thinking, so if prenups aren't for the rich, they aren't planning for a divorce, I can't prevent my spouse from being unfaithful to me, and I can't make them stay married to me for my religious reasons. Fine, Julie, I'm listening. Why should I get a premarital agreement? I'm glad you asked. I have some thoughts. When I was writing a blog about this topic, my 17-year-old wandered in, asked what I was doing. I told him, and he told me his truth. He said, smart people get a prenup. It may not prevent the divorce entirely, but it lights the path for a successful marriage. Wise words, right? I'm still kind of shocked he said that. I guess he has been hearing me after all these years. I mean, selectively, because when I tell him to set the table, he somehow can't hear me. Although a mediated premarital agreement is a contract, that's not why you get one. You get one because it helps preventing a divorce by creating a solid foundation for a marriage, just like my 17-year-old said. A mediated premarital agreement is like an insurance policy for your relationship. The mediation process ensures that both parties are heard and that they feel secure about their life together. Mediating a premarital agreement is opening up the opportunity to have crucial and sometimes difficult conversations. We talk about expectations, responsibilities, and your goals for your marriage. It's a proactive step towards building a successful and forever marriage. Consider that a mediated premarital agreement is a smart tool for you to navigate your future together. Successful marriages do not happen by chance. They happen by design and by having difficult conversations. Life is unpredictable. Careers shift, health changes, financial situations evolve. A premarital agreement is not planning for a divorce. It's planning for your expectation for your marriage. It's about being prepared for whatever life throws your direction. In mediation, we ask the hard questions of each other. How will childcare be managed? Is there an expectation to work? And if so, is it full-time? Is it part-time? What happens if the other person doesn't work or refuses to work? And frankly, I see that a lot in my divorce mediation practice. This is across genders, where one party just refuses to work. After years and years, the other party begs them and begs them. What do we do then? What if somebody spends a lot of money on unnecessary stuff? What if there's an inheritance? What happens to the premarital assets? Is spousal support on the table? What about your or your soon-to-be spouse's student loans? What if you pay off one of your student loans but don't pay off the other student loan? Then what? And if you do have some assets going into your marriage, the truth is you will not remember because memories fade. I see it happen all of the time. At the very least, a premarital agreement marks what your premarital assets were. Did you put $20,000 down on the house? Did you have $40,000 in retirement? A premarital agreement makes sure that all of that is known. So now let's talk about how a prenup mediation works. It's not a battleground like you see in the movies with opposing attorneys at the altar. Instead, it's a guided process by a neutral mediator like myself. It also is not couples therapy. In my premarital agreement mediation sessions, I guide couples through a series of 2 to 3 mediation sessions so we can talk about everything and have time to agree to things. A premarital agreement is not about signing away love, it's about strengthening it. It's your way of saying, let's be smart about this and let's create a solid and resilient forever marriage. Check out my free premarital agreement checklist below. And if you want to consult with me, check out that consult link below too.